All right, guys, welcome back to the channel. This video comes from MSNBC, and we're basically about to listen to Reid trash Thanksgiving and tell Americans how racist they are for celebrating such a wonderful holiday, all right? She's going to try to ruin Thanksgiving for us, but we won't let her. Happy Thanksgiving to everybody one more time. I said it once, but I'm going to say it again. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe while you're watching. Now let's get into it.
We begin tonight with Thanksgiving, the day we gather with friends and family to enjoy turkey, stuffing, mashed potatoes, and pumpkin pie. We throw on the game, catch up on our lives, and then discuss, or quite possibly argue, about religion and politics. For millions of Americans, it's a day of cherished traditions. And as Americans, we certainly value those traditions. But it's also important to unpack the myth of Thanksgiving. It is a holiday riddled with historical inaccuracies, built on this myth that the indigenous welcomed their colonizers with open arms and ears of corn. A simplistic fairy tale interpretation of a 1621 encounter between indigenous tribes and English settlers that erases the genocide that followed. It's the truth Republicans want banned from our textbooks. Because here's the secret they want so desperately to keep. We are a country founded on violence. Our birth was violent.
Let me just stop her there really quickly. She's saying that textbooks want to get rid of this. But understand this. I mean, I will give her the fact that I didn't see anything about, the Pilgrims mass murdering the Indians in my textbooks in school. But it's just a school textbook. You can't fit every little detail, every little historic detail inside of a book. You know, they don't give you the 100% accuracy about slavery in history books as well. There's plenty of things where we do not get the 100% full scope of the picture when it comes to textbooks. Just want to let that be known. Thanksgiving isn't the only thing where we don't get the full truth about the holiday, so to speak.
In 1619, a ship with more than 20 enslaved Africans landed in Virginia, ushering in 2 centuries of American slavery that left millions in chains or dead. And when those humans in bondage were finally free, a terrorist organization that was a card-carrying member of polite society, the Ku Klux Klan, picked up where the Civil War ended, using violence to maintain white supremacy. The Klan and its ilk are still active, and as Americans, we continue to choose violence. We are a country that chooses violence over and over again. There is no facet of American society that is untouched by it, as all the recent headlines remind us.
All right, so yeah, I mean, you can leave it up to Reid and everyone like her to try to ruin Thanksgiving. I mean, imagine trying to appeal to a group of people that don't celebrate Thanksgiving in America. I think that should say something about your news network. Everyone celebrates Thanksgiving here. I mean, yes, you know, there are people who choose not to for their own reasons, but most people celebrate Thanksgiving. So the fact that you cater into the minority and not the majority just shows who really watches your news segment. You know, if Thanksgiving isn't something that you want to do, don't ruin it for everybody else. But she has nothing better to talk about on Thanksgiving other than how it's so racist. You can't ruin Thanksgiving for us, man. I don't want to hear about that. I just want to eat my turkey, stuffing, and cranberry sauce. That's it. And my sweet potatoes. Can't forget the sweet potatoes. I don't want to hear about Pilgrims and Indians and that. No, you know, I'm glad America is standing tall still today, and it wouldn't have had it not been for that, you know, that time in history. So I'm thankful. I'm thankful for it, man. But we're about to get into a video from PragerU titled, "What's the Truth About the First Thanksgiving?" I let Reid ramble on, but I want to get a little more accuracy about the first Thanksgiving, because let's be honest, everybody doesn't remember the first Thanksgiving from their textbook. So hopefully PragerU can clear some things up for us. All right, let's get into it.
Food, football, and oppression. That's what Thanksgiving has come to mean to many Americans. Back in 2007, Seattle public school officials made national news by describing the holiday as a time of mourning and a bitter reminder of 500 years of betrayal. This new narrative describes the Pilgrims as arrogant oppressors who fled persecution only to become persecutors themselves, depriving Native Americans of their land and their lives. But this is wrong on every count. First of all, the Pilgrims didn't cross the ocean to flee persecution or even England. They'd been living for over a decade in Holland, Europe's most tolerant nation and a haven for religious dissenters.
See, that's some information I didn't know right there already, off the bat.
In Holland, Europe's most tolerant nation and a haven for religious dissenters. Free from interference by the Church of England, they feared seduction, not persecution, worrying that their children would be corrupted by the materialistic Dutch culture. That's why they risked their dangerous 1620 voyage to a wilderness continent, not because they were running from oppression, but because they were running toward holiness, fulfilling a fateful mission to build an ideal Christian commonwealth. They initially planned to plant this model society on the wild, wolf-infested island known to natives as Manhattan. But winds and tides blew them 250 miles off course, dumping the Mayflower on the frozen coast of Massachusetts. Somehow, the Pilgrims saw their dire situation as a demonstration of providential power, especially after a giant wave picked up the flimsy boat of a scouting party on a stormy December night. The turbulent sea then deposited them safely, miraculously, on a little island within sight of the ideal location for their settlement. It was a deserted Indian village with cleared land, stored supplies of corn, and a reliable source of fresh water. No, these supposedly cruel conquerors never actually invaded that village. Instead, they expressed a fervent desire to pay the natives for the dried corn they found, if only they could find someone to pay. But the former inhabitants had perished during 3 years of plague, probably smallpox, that immediately preceded the Pilgrims' arrival. One of the few survivors of that devastation turned up several months later to welcome the English newcomers. Against all odds, he proved to be the single human being on the continent best suited to help the struggling settlers, since he spoke English and had already embraced Christianity. His name was Squanto, and he had grown up in this very village before a ruthless sea captain kidnapped him as a boy and sold him into slavery in Spain. After 4 years, he was freed by kindly monks, then made his way to England, and finally sailed across the Atlantic, only to find his friends and family all wiped out by disease. Over the next few months, Squanto helped the English newcomers plant crops and negotiate a friendly trade agreement with the region's most important chief, Massasoit. No wonder Pilgrim leader William Bradford called Squanto a special instrument sent of God for their good. The celebration, later known as the First Thanksgiving, actually involved a 3-day harvest festival in October, apparently inspired by the biblical holiday of Sukkot, or the Feast of Tabernacles. 90 hungry Indian warriors joined the 53 surviving pilgrims for this occasion. Nearly half of the colonists had died during the brutal winter. The Englishmen provided some vegetables, fish, and perhaps wild turkeys, while the natives brought 5 recently hunted deer as house gifts. The preferred sport on this occasion wasn't football, but shooting, with settlers and Indians sharing a fierce fascination with guns. Though these hardy pilgrims loom large in the American imagination, they never built their Plymouth settlement into a major colony. In nearby Boston, the later colony of Massachusetts Bay grew so much faster that it swallowed up the great-grandchildren of the Pilgrims in 1691. But the sense of purpose of the original Pilgrims left a permanent imprint on the national character.
Yep.
They maintained unshakable confidence that God protected them, not to grant special privileges, but to impose special responsibilities. They saw themselves as instruments, not authors, of a mysterious master plan. Today, with our continued blessings so obvious and so overwhelming, The only reason to treat this beloved national holiday as a time of mourning is that some foolish Americans actually think that's a good idea. The Pilgrims knew better. They understood that people of every culture and every era can gain more from gratitude than from guilt. I'm Michael Medved for Prager University. Thank you for
Shout out to Michael Medved. Now, you seen that, you heard that. I mean, I'm going to close it out with, you can have your opinions on Thanksgiving, right? You're entitled to. Free country. You can think whatever you want about Thanksgiving. But you heard all those details. Now, to go over all of those details about the holy journey, everything, the pilgrimage from where they left to where they came, the good moments between the settlers and the Native Americans, and you skip right to the end and just say racist, racist, racist. That's not how it works. Everything happens for a reason, and had it not been for that holy journey, America might not be what America is today. So this is why we stop and just give some thanks for them in that holy mission. And the way we do it is by gathering around a table with our family, friends, loved ones. Gather around, pray, and eat some delicious food. I got no problem with it. Thanksgiving is my favorite holiday of the year, even more than Christmas. I like food better than gifts. All right? But that's it for the video. Let me know what you think about that in the comments down below. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe on your way out the door. Till next time, you guys, I'm out of here. Peace.